later on. I would like, in the beginning, just to express my happiness to participate in such a forum. Maybe the idea that is being presented here is just the political participation for the youth. And today is a good example of the president of the country executive authority in the cabinet have the same desire, the desire to participate of the youth and give them a full chance, certainly having a good personality, such as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Ali Abdel, and we wish to have him here on the panelists and listen to them. I've made just a short paper on the political participation of the youth in the local community that may give you an answer. If the cabinet made an effort, I think the whole thing is relied on the law in itself that would fill the gap that's been lasted since 2011 up till now. It is about the enabling the youth, and if we wish just to cast a light on the political participation, which is one of the democratic pillars, to give the chance to the citizens to aiming of having the public interest, to give large numbers of youth in the political participation with the demands and requirements of the whole society, and would translate a feeling of social personality and guarantee the participation of the youth in the political life, and enlisted in a good value, which is the value of freedom. And the participation would guarantee the participation in making decisions. And we've all heard the slogans of the youth of bread freedom and social justice, and of course the participation is a real translation for the bread and freedom, one of the revolutions. Also, the expected local communities elections would expand the monitoring in listing or enlisting the role of the people by the people, that would give the participation of making decisions in degraded positions. So your MP, of course, your points are very important, but the importance of to be executed on reality. We read good words. Is it going to be executed in reality? Do you feel it as citizens? I would like to move from you to one of the young people having here. Of course, you are the first decade of the PMP that the qualification program of the president. And have you touched of the performance in the local community? What do we need in the upcoming period? Let me just say that I am from the New Valley citizen. And the second point, we've already talked about points in the loop. From a different perspective, that I am one of the trainers of the Ministry of Sport and Youth in the political development. The second, or rather the first point, how its performance was improved. The second point, taken at the local units, or rather the elected local councils. And is it anything in Egypt need an intervention from the minister in order just to have an improvement? Do I still need or report to the government? for just troubleshooting, and what do we need? Do I need, whether if Dr. Ahmed Badr is in the office or other, that all officers in the local communities are going to work in the same system? The second, or the following point, the idea of enabling. We've been living a form of enabling. Let me say it's just like fake enabling, because it goes through three phases, training and enabling, and the third part is employment. We used to do only one point, not the whole points, just having seats in the House of Representatives, and not to say, not actually having an actual participation. What do you mean about the actual participation? Don't you feel that there is an actual enabling? The idea that I used lived actually in a good idea on which is the parliament. Then if I say that the ages are from 8 to 18 and the
السيدات والسادة، وها هي جولة السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي لمتابعة ما تم نقاشه.
Now we're having we move to follow up the tour of the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to examine the renovation and recent efficiency of sewage discharges or stations, Kima 1 and 2, that would lift the suffering from the people of that area, that they were suffering of the bad quality of the water and spread of the bad smelling. In a swift response of the President, just to follow what has been achieved and what has been said and announced by His Excellency Minister of the Housing, that it is ongoing to execute the work at the two stations, Kima 1 and Kima 2, to be finished and completed in March. Following the establishing of the sewage station by the third treatment, or using the system of the third treatment of the water or the sewage. We are live at the site to be explored and examined by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We are pleased to have live Minister of Mustafa Mutali, the Minister of the Housing, and according following to what have been said earlier, that the finished execution of the station to be finished and completed on March. Will you please just give us or rather elaborate about what has been happening? I would like just to say or to clarify a point. We have two main stations, Kima 1 and 2. That served the sphere area of Kima's manufacture, which are the housing communities.
الحقيقة دول كانوا معمولين بتصميم ان هم يستوعبوا حجم معين من الطاقة في هذا الوقت، اللي هو يمثل عدد السكان اللي كانوا موجودين، ويمكن كان في حد.
فانا لو وقفت مع مجموعه شباب هبقى وقفت ضد
the arrivals of party to have a group of these, and that it is natural to have an political pragmatism. If you want to join me in the party, if I succeed, I will prove myself. I would be required from the area or the district or the village to choose the most servant one. I will say that you get benefited from the initiative as much as you can, and no one is going to have someone succeeded. No one is going to take someone on the keys and take his name and put his name. And even though people used to spend millions, and this is not necessarily are going to succeed or to win the elections, and the society are able now to distinguish who is going to serve him well. You're not going to play such a game based on the old rules. There's a change happened that we should take positively, that maybe people would love to see new faces. Exactly. So we are having a good chance. We cannot just deny that even if you participate in the election in the 80s or the 90s, so that you had to just like make signs to show yourself. But now, because of the new technology, just with the click of a button, sending a message through the mobile phone, so you could say and present yourself through. We are, based on such a technology, we are able to do it. And of course, all of us through the social media, anything would happen would be aware, everyone would be aware of it in a minute. So you can just send your idea to the people. I say that we are having a very historical phase, and I say to the young people that based on the initiative, would call you to come and use it as much as you can to win. Don't you even think of just taking a plunge card to succeed? Our future in our hand is an initiative with the collaboration of Ministry of Sport and Youth and the local communities administration. We train 4,000 young people just to tell them what is the idea and the proposals presented by the cabinet, how it looks like, and the role of the popular local community councils. What I say, eventually, no one would let you win unless you have the desire and the will to solve the problems. And we say that things are better than they used to before. Just to stick to the chance, get self-confidence, and then people would believe you and work with you. I'd like just to know from you, how would the municipalities would play a role in the upcoming period? Everyone talked about the horizons of the upcoming elections, and how do you see the problems your governorate is facing? Before I enter, I just wanted to cast a light to several points, which is the system of the local communities aren't new systems. On the contrary, Egypt has a long history, and since Muhammad Ali era, and the first constitution of the Egypt, 1923, stated that. The second point, the current constitution, firstly, is viewing the local communities as the third branch of the executive authority, and composed of two branches. The first one is the executive authorities, and the second branch, wing, is the popular councils. We say from the constitutions played a good role to encourage the youth to participate in the beginning by decreasing this age of participation from 25 years old to 21 years old, and the percentage of 20% under the age of 35 to be enlisted in development. And of course, it gives an indication of the importance of the youth participation. And the Constitution has stated that 20% from women and 50% of the workers and the farmers, and guaranteed to have appropriate representation of the Christian Egyptians, and stated to have a very independent budget for the communities that would guarantee the independence of decisions. And the following point, which is very important, pointed out by His Excellency the Minister, that the resolutions of the local administrative or directorates are final as long as they are in the light of their authorities, and they do not harm the general or the public interest. And actually, the Constitution's given a good, great concern to the local communities, and of course, it's coming from popular elected councils, and of course, they are the most expression of their problems, the public, and they know exactly their needs, and also they represent, or rather they are expanding the young participation base through young people starting of having aware of their community's problems and present solutions. And do you say that these are on reality? Are you really feeling that are actually these what you've said translated on the ground? Amongst I think amongst the problems there is some sort of a negligence of using the available resources because of the lack of good competence that are working in the local communities. And it says that there are paid greater concern to the cities vis-a-vis the rural areas. And we've already seen lately that the administrative monitoring administration is doing a great role in confronting corruption. This would some sort of or make the people feel resentment and for the role of the state, but eventually, me as a student, if I want just to finish my papers in the university, I eventually deal with an officer, not just a minister. So that would make me upset about this whole system of the education, not just the services provided by the officer. I say for the solution, it is a must to shift from gradual decentralization and using technology in the authorities of services, because it would speed the process of having such a service, and in the meantime would minimize the chance of having some sort of a corruption. And the fifth programs such as the power, roads, security, environment, and the development of local communities, I think that should be expanded for other programs such as health, housing, and use on Riyadh. Such a model would guarantee the just of the distribution, and in the meantime would give the governorate a chance to lay out plans according to the needs of the citizens. I thank you, Munir. Of course, there is some sort of a state of awareness, not just complaining about problems, but presenting proposed solutions. I know that there are a lot of questions, but before you continue, Munir, that you've already explored the main problems that require a need or a response from Dr. Abdelal. Dr. Abdelal already heard the main problems or initially that the local communities are suffering from some sort of corruption. So what is required later on? Do you think that the law of local administrations would give a chance to get rid of such problems? Of course, the law is not... the law would have solutions for the red tapes and corruptions and etc. It's based on the previous experiences of other countries, states, and as mentioned, that they are not modernized as much as enough. It started actually in the 80s, and why we failed of having a local administration of a model that would fulfill the aspirations of the citizen in governorates or cities and villages. The main problem is to determine what is the local facility. Up till now, there are no clear limits for the local facility run by the region vis-à-vis the main one of the whole government. The facility of the defense, for example, cannot be run by the national administration as well as the facility of police, except the special forces that assigned for the facilitations or tourism or such passport administration that can be run by local community administrations. And it is also the education system cannot be run centrally throughout the whole world. All the education, in particular under the university stages, should be moved to the governorate. So, just to separate the conflict that is taking place in the local community, the issue is just I give the problem to the governor and asking you to represent the authority of the president, and it happened that would have a conflict with the health, education, other facilitation, as mentioned by Dr. Badr, that the governor is burned of the problems of the governorates, yet the solutions in the hands of the ministers in the capitals. So to start with, we should determine or have a definition for the local facility or the national ones. The second point, why do we have corruptions in the local administrations? This is because of the negligence of participation in itself. So if we have an intensive participation, so would limit the using money in elections, as well as the political connections that taking place amongst the professionals who are expert in practicing politically. The third problem, to get rid of the red tapes. So the work circle, the administrative circle of work is taken.
عايز اعرف حضرتك. انا لسه جبتك يا ريس. نشكر حضرتك جدا يا فندم ان حضرتك بدات وخليت الزياره زياره مفاجاه وفاجاتها جدا. طالبنا ان حضرتك تيجي وتشوف الموقع بنفسك. مع حضرتك يا فندم.
اسمح لي حضرتك اشرح لحضرتك المشروع.
Explain to you the project. We are here in Kima Station. These are two stations together, Kima 1 and Kima 2. This is the location of Kima 1 and this is the location of Kima 2. These two stations used to serve the residential area of Kima factory, and it was a utility established since the 60s with the beginning of the project. I might give you an example to know the history of Kima. The decision was made to establish this station was made in the year 1969, and the station started working in the year 1991. We need to identify how long did it take to reconstruct the station. In the year 2000, Kima 2 was introduced. These two stations were established with a full capacity of 55,000 cubic meters per day to serve the residential area that was there, be it in the year 1991 or 2000. And then these two stations started working. But we need to be transparent in identifying the problem with, of course, the urbanization. And when we were coming on our way, we have seen the unplanned urbanization that took place around the two stations. So each residential area around the station started to establish its own network and to do connections linking to these pipelines, and they would all go to this station. At one time also, before the development of Kima factory itself, its industrial drainage was going to the same station. So this led to the full destruction of both stations. I'm going to show you two photos of before and after. This became very clear by the end of 2013, the beginning of 2014. Accordingly, the cabinet accepted the rehabilitation of the two stations and increasing their capacity to 55,000. And we started the designing of the two stations, and to be able to work, we had to evacuate all the tanks and the basins. And when you look at it, how it looked like in 2014, you will find that the remainings were frozen and all the machines and equipments were not working and operating at all. So we started working the beginning of 2015 in Kima 1 and Kima 2 in parallel. We raised the capacity of Kima 1, which is 20,000, and we increased it to reach 30,000, and we finalized this by the end of 2015, and we started operating it. And of course, there were some remarks that we received afterwards, and we are going to correct them by the end of this year. Kima 2, which is the major project, it was for 35,000 in the first place. This is where we are now. And we are increasing its capacity now to 45,000 rather than 35,000. And as I said, we are going to finalize it by the end of this year. We have finished it, but we are now in the experimental operation. We are doing experiments now to test it, and we look now at some of its basins and tanks. That's why it would come into service by the end of next March. I will show you photos. Your Excellency, I wish that you would see these photos. This was the photo of Kima 1. This is how the station looked like before. Here, there should have been water, but of course, the basin was totally blocked because of the sludge. in it, so there was no space for water. And this is how the basin looks like after we finalized the rehabilitation and the development of the station. And the same happens here, and you can see here the final basins, how do they look like, and the sludge concentration basins, you can see them. So we are operating it now partially, and it would be in full operation by the end of March. And here also we can see the photos of Kima 2 before and after the full rehabilitation of it. And you can see here how it was in need for rehabilitation, and we have done it to make it even better than how it was before it started, in addition to the extensions we achieved. And we will finish all this work by the end of March, and by doing so we will be able to finalize the secondary treatment in Kima 1 and Kima 2. We made also a decision in the cabinet after I presented to you the issues of wastewater in Egypt. We, like all other countries, need to benefit from treated water. So we made a decision to turn secondary treatment of water into tertiary treatment of wastewater. Tertiary treatment means that I would be able to reuse this water afterwards, after recycling it, and it can go also to drainage and lakes and canals without any problem. So the decision was made, and the tertiary treatment will be finalized by next March. So the tertiary treatment will start by the end of March and will end by May. Let's ask if the youth who are here have any questions. I think that we need to visit one location. It's a great honor for us to visit this place. I would like to tell you something. We need to have confidence in each other. And I, along with my colleagues, am doing the same. We were following up what was taking place, and this is not the reason for phasing out the project. We are doing this follow-up to show that we are interested and working on solving your problems. Because we are here on air, and this means that everybody is listening to what we are saying. You are now telling the people in Alexandria, don't believe this government. Of course, he did not mean to do so, so I wanted to come here so that you would be reassured and the Egyptians would know that we would never make a promise without keeping it. Let me tell you again, the main idea when we are talking on air and this is broadcasted, people would say they kept him from talking, they prevented him from expressing himself. We would not do such a thing. We learned from this visit that you know about Aswan things that we do not know. I would like to thank Dr. Mustafa Madbouli because, frankly speaking, he did not keep any efforts. He is doing everything and following up the implementation. Who is working here today? It is the Egyptian Arab Contractors Company and the young people from Egypt. And I would like to say also, the decision of making tertiary treatment for wastewater is a strategic decision that was made nationwide. What do I mean by saying this? People in the south. This means that the treated water in the past used to undergo secondary treatment, and for secondary treatment this water would be wasted because it cannot be used for a lot of other purposes. But we said that water is a wealth, so we need to do tertiary treatment for water according to the international standards. So we need to have the tertiary treatment. After we used to do secondary treatment only. After finishing this, we would move to tertiary treatment starting March till May. I said in television before that we aim at achieving 10 million cubic meters of water that were tertiary treated per day, so as not to waste water. And even if we would put it in a lake like Manzala or Borellus, this water can be used for planting the plants, the crops, and the fish over there. So what you said was very helpful and useful. Thank you very much. There are other factors in Edfu that has the same problem with the drainage. We want other companies to be established in Aswan as well as factories. The only factory we have in Aswan is Kima factory. We want other factories to create more job opportunities for our youth. Okay, we are going to establish a lot of other projects. We have full confidence in you, Your Excellency the President, I know. Mr. President, in the name of the young people of Aswan, we would like to extend our thanks to you for your quick response. It was a dream that came true. I swear by God that I am so glad to meet people in the streets here in Aswan. I think that we would be able to support Egypt through such projects as well as the young people. Let's go and watch the other locations and sites.